So, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I hope that you are in a good place and had a good week. And today I'm meeting with one of my fellow BNI colleagues to talk about security systems. So, before we get into that interview, and Junior's here now, we always give a shout out to our number one fan. So if we could just give a shout out to Ross Saunders today in Norwich, England. Hey, Rossi, how you doing?
Hey Ross.
There you go. Junior's saying hello as well. And I also just want to give a special mention today to a very good friend of mine, Colleen. It's your birthday today. So I just noticed that on Facebook. So I'm just going to give you a little happy birthday as well. All right. So BNI, meeting so many fabulous people through the BNI network, both here in Orlando and further afield. If you haven't got BNI in your life and you're a business owner, honestly, you're missing a trick. It's one of the easiest ways to meet great people and talk business without anyone looking bored and yawning, because we all love talking business, don't we, Junior? And we all love talking about referrals. So if you haven't got BNI in your life, then check it out because it's a great way to help you build your business. Now, Junior and I met through our BNI chapter, County Line Connections. So, Junior, how's it going today?
Going well, going well.
Great. And we've had our chapter meeting this morning. So he's come straight out of that and kindly come and done this for SHERGROUP, which we really appreciate. Now, of course, I'm in the security field through a large division of SHERGROUP USA and also SHERGROUP UK. So I understand some of what Junior does in terms of residential security systems. But I mean, Junior, how long have you been with ADT?
I've been with ADT now for about 3 years.
About 3 years. And you really know your product, don't you?
Yeah, I actually started off as an installer. So I used to install the systems before I moved into my current role.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and so he actually did the installation at our new home. And so that was great for us. It's great to have an ADT person that you actually can reach out to with your security system at home. And in terms of how long ADT has been in business, I mean, how long have they been going as a company?
So ADT has actually been in business for about 145 years or so.
Wow.
Yeah. They actually started April 5th of 1874. There was a nighttime break-in.
Yeah.
So American District Telegraph, ADT actually started off as a telegraph company.
Okay.
The founder, Edward Callahan, he created a telegraph-based call box to signal assistance in to a central office. So he ended up connecting about 50 homes in the neighborhood, creating the first residential security system.
Okay, I'm going to make that a bit easier for those of you, just to put that in context. Any of you that have been to Spaceship Earth at Epcot and have been around Spaceship Earth, you will know that there is a telegraph operator in about the 1920s in the journey through the ages in Epcot. So that's what Junior is talking about. So what was it? The American District Telegraph?
Yeah, that's what ADT stands for.
I did not know that. That is very cool. That is a very cool piece of Americana, American history. Because we all see, telegraph operators in the old Western films and stuff like that. So it's really good to see that. Now, ADT, of course, has come a long way since 1874. So alarm systems. Now, you put an alarm system into my house, and we had an ADT system in our previous house, as you know. So, I mean, how does that system work? And you can break it into bite-sized chunks for those of us that are not specialists.
Yeah. So simply put, an ADT alarm system will activate when it's triggered. So a trigger can occur for a variety of reasons. For example, glass breaking, high carbon monoxide levels, motion detection, or there are sensors on windows and doors. And once that contact is broken, a signal will be sent from the control panel, and will alert our monitoring station.
Okay. So we have them here. We have them on all the windows, and you went round and checked and surveyed the house, didn't you? So you would do that for any customer. You or one of your colleagues would go and do a site survey and check the house and check where they needed to have these sensors and contact points, which I know you did for us. And then if anything is triggered in the alarm, it sends a signal to the monitoring station. So who's monitoring ADT systems?
So unlike some other companies that partner with independent monitoring stations, ADT, we own 9 monitoring stations. Having ownership over the monitoring station gives us the power to set high standards and ensure just operational excellence.
Yeah.
So simply put, who monitors our ADT systems? ADT.
Okay. So let's say that there is a break-in, because that's what most people have, a fire or a break-in are probably, two of the worst things that can happen to a homeowner, aren't they? If there is one of those calamities, what happens in the ADT monitoring system? How is the homeowner helped?
So immediately after the alarm is triggered, a signal gets sent over to our monitoring station. The first thing we do is we call the customer, the homeowner, to notify them of the event, because there are times where someone accidentally walked out the back door or opened a window while the alarm is on, which happens.
Yeah.
So we give them a call, and if they're not home or if there's not an answer or anything like that, we immediately dispatch the police.
Yeah. Yes, unfortunately, I am a bit known for that in my own house, because I get up early and I go for a walk, and I have been known to open the back door when the alarm is still on, much to my poor old husband's, because it frightens it does send you into a bit of a tizzy because you've got the alarm going off, but it's usually me just walking out and forgetting to turn the alarm off.
I do that regularly.
Do you? Okay,
Yeah.
I feel
You'd think after all these years I would be good at remembering to turn it off. But if someone knocks on my door that I wasn't expecting, or if I'm going over to open the door, I'll open the door.
okay. I feel good now, knowing that an ADT specialist does it as well as me. I will make sure that Mr. Steve knows that. So I mean, now in Florida, we do have from time to time hurricanes and other climate, bad weather, and it can cause the power to go out. And it can be, just it's gone. What happens to the alarm system in that time?
Now, with the alarm systems, they do have a backup battery
Okay.
that are in the panel.
Yeah.
So if the power were to go out, the backup battery does continue on for about 3 days or so. So the
Okay.
system can run for about 3 days with no power.
Okay.
In addition, we don't go through like a landline, like the plain old telephone service. We have a cell that's put inside of the panel, so the system's always able to communicate.
Okay. That's good to know, especially if we have like another, God forbid, but we have another Irma, that took the power out for 2 days, didn't it, in and around Central Florida. So, that's good to know from homeowners' point of view, that a power outage is not fatal to the system working. I think that's really important. Now, I'm sure you're on a continual treadmill of converting people and convincing people that they need to have a home alarm system. What are the reasons that people give you as to why they don't need one? What is it they think they don't need that protection? What does that look like?
Yeah, so that's actually a really, really good question. There are a variety of reasons people feel like they don't, need an alarm system. I would say the one that I get the most is I live in a safe neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's probably the number one thing that I hear. I live in a safe neighborhood, never had a break.
Yeah.
To which I always say, okay, great. What makes this neighborhood safe? Do you leave your doors unlocked? Will you let your neighbor know, hey, you can come in and out of my house whenever you please? Um, and gates, I would say guard gates are probably the other big one. Just the security gates at the front of a neighborhood that
Yeah.
has the touch dial that
Yeah.
you can put in. I can't tell you how many neighborhoods I've gone in, and as soon as I pull up to the gate, someone behind me will be trying to get in, and they'll push the button and let me in. And the other thing that I like to mention to people is, yeah, it's a safe neighborhood, but do you know who's mowing your lawn? Do you know who's doing your pest control? Do they change the code on the gate after every Amazon or FedEx delivery?
Yeah.
Um, and with some of the other like the commercial services that are used, such as lawn care, it's do they change the passcode on the gate every single time a company gets fired, or or an individual in a company gets fired? Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of break-ins from people like lawn companies and things like that, because the scary thought is they know your schedule better than you do.
Yeah.
They're in and around your house, they're in your backyard. They don't look suspicious because they're there to do a job, but they know when you're home. They know when you're not home. So to answer that question, why people feel like they don't need an alarm system, it's almost this false sense of security that's created, because you haven't had an event. They feel like they're never going to have an event. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I've been to a couple homes that end up being reactive rather than proactive, and I show up after an event has happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that security the monthly cost, because you normally pay, most people pay for their alarm service monthly, right? Just like their
Yep.
lawn mowing service, or some other service that they have done at the house. And I know it's another added cost to the monthly
Hmm.
budget, but I would say have a look at your other spend a month and just see whether anything is as important as keeping your family tucked up safely, and
Yeah.
not just because somebody comes into the house, but because of a fire, or a
Mhm.
carbon monoxide event, where it can end up in a tragedy.
Yeah,
um,
one thing that I do tell customers all the time is your alarm system is your least expensive utility bill that does the most to protect you. Your water bill, your cable bill, every other utility, your electric bill, gosh,
yeah.
every other bill is going to be higher, and for ADT, you're looking anywhere from $30 to $60 a month
Yeah.
to protect your home.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally subscribe to that. I also like the little signage that you can put in the front yard and the backyard to tell people the house is protected by ADT, which I think is a huge deterrent, just because of your brand, and the people know that when it's ADT protected, it's got that connectivity. It's not one of these out of the box kind of home kits of
Hmm.
security that maybe are not linked up to a monitoring station. They're linked up to your phone, but the problem is if you're not watching your phone and there's a problem, then it's not gonna raise an alarm at the monitoring station and then send you the necessary help. So
Right.
I think it's prune back in other. My advice would be prune back in other areas. Check what you are paying on subscription and lose a few of those, not many. And you might find you've got the budget for your ADT installation. And that's why I think those yard signs are so important. I mean, do you find that people use them? Do they put them out at the front, or is there a better place to put them? Where's the best place to put the yard sign?
Usually in the front. I have a lot of customers that put them at the front, and some customers that put them at the back of the house as well.
Yeah.
The yard signs, as you said, they're very important. They're really good visual deterrents. I always encourage people to think like a criminal.
Yeah.
If I were looking down the street and I see six houses with an ADT sign, and one house without, well, I mean, I'm not going to risk getting caught by going to a house that I know there's a security system at.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And my other little hint on that tip is when you put that ADT sign in the ground, get a mallet and bang it in so that it stays put, because they're very sturdy, aren't they? And once they're in the ground, they stay in the ground. But if you just try and push it down a couple of inches, it's going to fall over, and then you're going to get annoyed with it, and then you're probably going to put it in the trash. Don't do that. Don't put those signs in the trash. And I have to tell you, when we left our last house, we left the alarm system there, as you know, and we took the ADT signs with us to bring to the new house as well. So they're very valuable, those yard signs. So that's your brand, and it's standing proud and tall in the alarm industry. Who's your competitor? Well, what's a compete? Well, who thinks they're a competitor to ADT but actually isn't?
I mean, there are quite a few competitors right now. I would say the biggest one of the challenges is the do-it-yourself systems.
Yeah.
Because the do-it-yourself systems, they do boast of a, lower costs. I think some of the do-it-yourself systems, which I don't mind talking price because I know what we offer.
Yeah.
But some of the do-it-yourself systems are, $15-20 a month. Which, I mean, ADT is what, $10 more, but at the end of the day, it becomes one of those things where they're able to keep their costs low because of things such as they don't have to send somebody out to professionally install your equipment. Usually the equipment that you're using, it's a lot cheaper. And the big thing is they don't take the extra time and money to spend on encryptions, which is big because
Yeah.
we've seen videos about some of our competitors being hacked. I won't say their names, but we've seen videos about some of the competitors, their systems being hacked and bypassed. I mean, there are two competitors off the top of my head. You can go on YouTube, and I'll leave that for you guys to research on your own. But you could go on YouTube and type in, how to hack this system or how to hack that system, and it'll give you a step-by-step instruction on how to do it. But you can't find that for ADT.
No.
So when it comes to security, if it's able to be breached or hacked, then it's not true security.
That's very good advice. I mean, encryption, you don't really think about encryption with a home security system if you're just a regular homeowner. But we all know in all different parts of our lives through social media accounts getting hacked, and that actually a home security system could be hacked. So people go to enormous lengths to make sure their Facebook isn't hacked and their Insta isn't hacked. Now you need to go that extra mile to make sure that your home is secure, but also that it's not a system that can be hacked, because you don't want people getting into your home, just like you don't want people getting into your Facebook account, right? It's the same sort of thought process. So I think that's a very good differentiator, actually, when people are trying to choose a security system, understanding the how the strength of the code and how difficult it is to break it. Okay, so now obviously people listening to this will be thinking, we've got them thinking about how to secure their home, and obviously having an alarm system is a central resource, really. What else do you think people can do to secure their homes?
Yeah. So other ways people can secure their homes is going to be like having lights that are smart lights.
Yeah.
Is one thing that I recommend a lot, especially if you're traveling, having some type of a way to turn on and off your lights. That way it always looks like someone's at home. And having them, one thing that's important is having them on a almost like a revolving timer, so that way your lights don't come on at the same time every day. I don't know if you remember the Home Alone movie where they were sitting down and they're like 3, 2, one, and the robbers were pointing out exactly when the lights were going to come on. So it's like having something that where you can turn on and off your lights to make it look like someone is at home just at various times throughout the day. Not letting your newspapers stack up in your front driveway is a big one.
Yeah.
Something else, when people go to sleep at night, usually what they'll do is they'll flip on the light at the front. Now, some of them are dawn to dusk, so they'll turn off automatically. But other times, someone will flip on that light to have, light in their front yard.
Yeah.
But then when they leave for work or something like that in the morning, they'll forget to turn them off. Now, when those lights are on for extended periods of time, it looks like no one is home when those
Right.
lights are on all day.
Okay.
Taking Amazon boxes and putting in notes in Amazon, tuck this behind a bush or something like that. Just whatever you can do to make your house look like someone is always home.
Yeah.
That's going to be a key thing. Other things that are very important as well is making sure your items are stored properly. For example, your important documents, making sure that you keep them in a safe, medicines, because when people break into a house, they're like, yeah, they look for jewelry, they look for guns, they look for things like that. But one big thing is they look for information. They're looking for documents that has your name, they're looking for documents that has your date of birth, social security numbers, things like that. Because I mean, identity theft is on the rise, and
Yeah.
people do go to great lengths to find information out.
Yeah. That's all very, very good advice. And definitely keeping documents tucked up and
Mhm.
out of harm's way is really, really important. Um, in terms of, are people very security conscious about locking their front door and their back door? When I first arrived in Florida, it was a very relaxed attitude to having doors unlocked at home. Do you think that's changing? Has it changed?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. People people definitely realize the importance of keeping your doors locked, for cars as well.
Yeah.
Actually, my little brother went through this. We had cameras throughout my mom's house, and he woke up in the morning, all the stuff in his car was tossed around.
Right.
So they went back and looked at the cameras, and the first thing that they saw is it was a couple, two people. They went over, they checked my mom's door, they checked my sister's door, then they checked my little brother's door, and his door was unlocked. They went through the car, and then you just watched them go around the neighborhood, just checking all the car doors. And people do the same thing at the front door. They'll check to see if your front door is open if they don't see anyone's home.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, keeping your doors locked, however unfriendly or unneighborly that might appear, is your number one protection against anyone entering the home without an invitation. So if you're not in the habit of doing that, and your car as well, I mean, something that we don't do in Britain that obviously we do see here in the States is where the keys are left above the windscreen mirror, above the drivers, usually just tucked up there, aren't they? Behind the sunscreen. That doesn't happen in Britain at all. We're very security conscious in Britain, I think more so than the relaxed place we live in here in Orlando, although I'm sure there are different parts of America where it is just as people are just as security conscious. But my friends, we live in changing times, and although it's sad to see, you have to take steps to protect yourself and your family, and these are easy things to do that don't cause any offense, and they will protect you if and when somebody tries to take an opportune moment against your property. So what does ADT do around that? I mean, in terms of protecting the home or kids being out and about, what else does ADT do?
Yeah, so ADT has a variety of things that they offer. One thing that I always recommend for people to get, and a lot of people don't realize this, but ADT has an app It's called the So Secure app.
Okay.
This is what the app looks like,
Yeah.
and it's for when you're on the go. Now,
Okay.
when you're on the go, what you can do through that app is you can have your location sent over to, family, things like that. But it's also got an SOS button, an
Right.
SOS feature.
Yeah.
So on this app, you can set it up two ways. You can simply slide over if you have an emergency situation, and it will send dispatch authorities or medical to the exact location that you're at.
Right.
Um, you can actually do an SOS chat as well. So
Hmm.
you can go through the app and chat in and let them know, hey, I need help. This is what's going on. Um, and then there are safe words that you can use for it as well. I personally have not set that up because I'd be terrified that I'm going to say the safe word.
Hmm.
But through that app, you can set up a safe word where anytime your phone hears you say a certain word, it'll know that there's an emergency situation and dispatch the authorities.
Wow. That's really good. But now, does that come as part of the homeowner package?
Correct. That is the So Secure app is free to those who have ADT.
Oh, okay. All
Mhm.
right. Well, that's definitely worth knowing, isn't it? That I'll have a look at that because that would be good for my family. And anything that helps us, locate people if they are in an emergency somewhere is a good thing to have, especially if it's a free kind of function and you're already paying for it through the ADT subscription. So that's good to know. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so Junior, thank you very much for that great walkthrough on your product. I know you're an ADT guy through and through. You're helping a lot of people in and around Orlando with their security, home security, which is so necessary. What I can say about him is he's such a personable guy and really takes an interest in what you're trying to achieve with your home security system. So if you find this a little bit daunting, you're worried that perhaps, somebody's going to come and just sell you, I don't know, some system that's not going to really fit your needs. This is not the guy. He's going to really take a good look at what you're trying to achieve and have a look at your situation and then give you the appropriate product that goes with your circumstances. So take advantage of him and all of his knowledge and experience in the ADT world. Okay, so we'll put all of Junior's contact information in our show notes, which you can find. You'll be able to find this video on SHERGROUP's Facebook page, Insta, Twitter, and on YouTube itself. And we're actually creating now a SHERGROUP TV page on our website where all of the interviews that we have done with our lovely guests are all being curated. So if there's a particular guest you want to have a look at, as well as looking at Junior again and hearing what he's got to say, then you can check out that page as we're talking to more and more BNI and non-BNI people in our network. But great to have our BNI colleagues here as well. For everyone else, you can check out shergroup.com, which is our platform of all of the solutions that we offer for business owners. I'm a business owner, and one of the things that I don't want when I go to sleep at night is I don't want to be worrying about my house security and my family, and so anything that gives me a good night's sleep is a blessing. So if you're a business owner, either you've got your home or your business premises, perhaps you run your business from home and you've got those important documents that Junior was talking about in your home office, but you haven't yet got a security alarm. I would say to you that for peace of mind, take a look at what you've got in your house that relates to your business, your computer, your printer, your whole setup, and just make sure that you keep it all secured and tucked up and nobody can come in there and take it from you and then disrupt your entire business. I mean, for 30 to 60 bucks a month, it's money well spent. Okay. And that's why I use it. And I've used ADT for a long time and they've given us nothing but great service. So I thoroughly recommend the product to anyone listening to this video. That's all from us today of SHERGROUP on the Sofa. I thank you, Junior, for pitching in today and being a good sport. We look forward to seeing you next week with a new guest. And to everyone watching, thank you so much, and we will see you soon. Bye bye.